So yeah, we're just doing a baby speed lesson today, finishing P3. P3 homework will be due next time I see you. The one thing that we didn't cover last class was just solving for the indicated variable, which means that whatever variable they ask of us, we want to get that by itself. We want to isolate that. So if I look, the first one says get W by itself. What do I need to do to start to get W by itself? Divide by 2. Very good. So I've got P over 2 equals L plus W. Just like I'm doing, make sure that you put your work on the next line. Now what's my last step to get W by itself? Subtract L, very good. Minus that L off from both sides. Minus L minus L. That's gonna give me P over 2 minus L equals W. I know that looks kind of messy, but that is the best answer that we've got here. P over 2 minus L. Okay, let's look at the next one together too. Am I moving too fast or are we doing okay? Everybody's with me?
Very good.
Awesome. Okay, the next one, it's got, we want to solve for B1. So I want to solve for B sub 1. What should I do first to start getting B sub 1 by itself? Divide. Good. Let's get rid of those things up front. If I divide by 1/2 h, dividing by a fraction is the same thing as doing what? Multiplying by the reciprocal. Very good. So instead of writing divide by 2 over here, divide by 1/2, I'm going to say multiply by 2, and I'm going to say divide by h. So I've got 2a over h equals B1 plus B2. What's my last step to get that B1 by itself? Minus that B2. Good.
Would it be like wrong to divide 1/2 a for a divided by 1/2 a?
That would be just not as simple as it needs to be. So if you left your answer as a over 1/2 h, I would say like you need to keep going.
Okay.
We don't want a fraction inside a fraction, so that's why immediately I get rid of that 1/2 by multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, there's 2 more. There's one on this page and then one on the next side. Can you try those 2 on your own? And then I'll put the answers up to help you with that. Get rid of that third. Good. We're gonna call it cube root so that we get rid of the cube. So make sure you've got that little 3 out front of your square root. Out in front of your radical. Cube root of 3b over 4 pi equals r. Once you're done with that one, flip it over, try the next one. I'll keep letter C up on the board if anyone needs to reference it. Right, and I've got letter D on the board too. One thing I wanna make note is if you have a fraction and then you're adding or subtracting, make sure it's very obvious that that thing that you're adding or subtracting is not part of my, is not part of my fraction. So I wanna make sure it's really obvious that my 30 plus or minus, or my 32 is not the fraction. Okay. It looks like we still have a couple minutes. Let's just review slope really quick. So then we have a little less to cover on, Monday. We have to kind of catch up with, C period, and we're already a little bit behind. So let's look at slope really quick. We'll just see if we can do one or two more problems into P4. That being said, we have finally finished P3, so P3 is due next time I see you. And if you get done early with your quiz, that's something that you can work on. So then hopefully you have no homework this weekend. Okay, so let's remind ourselves slope really quick. Now, is slope gonna be on the quiz that we're about to take? No, what a silly question, right? Definitely not, because we're just now talking about it. Can you remind me what is slope? How do we find slope? Rise over run. I really like thinking about it as rise over run because rise helps me remember that I'm doing these points first. So what goes on top, your X's or your Y's? Y's, good. The vertical ones, Y2 minus Y1, and then my run is my horizontal ones, X2 minus X1. So as I do my slope, I am going to go label my points X1, Y1, X2, Y2. And so when I do my slope, I've got -1 minus 2 over 7 minus 3. -3 over 4. If you can simplify, simplify. If not, keep it here. Okay, next one, same idea. Try it by yourself, check it on the board with me. What does that mean?
0.
0? That means my slope is 0. A kid taught me this, and so maybe you've learned this cutie little trick, but I did not know this before. Some student taught me this a year or two ago. They had a little like acronym where they would write OK and then they would write NO. So if you have a 0 on top, that is an okay thing to have. That just means that our slope, our total thing is 0. If you have a 0 in the denominator, that is an NO, that's a no, that is not good, which means that my slope then would be not 1, undefined. Undefined, which is kind of a funny thing, right? It's a funny word. We're not used to that, and that's a weird concept to visualize. So that's something that I remember every so often. You're like, I don't remember if the 0 on top or the 0 on bottom means 0 slope. 0 on top is okay. So that means that my slope here is just 0. Okay, that is enough for today. We'll kind of save the rest for next class. You can go ahead and put your notes away. Go ahead and get your calculators out. You want the lights back on for the quiz, or is off a nice little vibe? Off is a nice vibe.
Off, please.
Off, please.
Yeah.